Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome, Mlb Dfs Pre-Lock Live for Tuesday night. And we got a big slate tonight. What's it, 14 games, I think? So there's a lot to go through, trying to condense players and pitchers and all that. It's not as bad as it looks, but let's get right to it. We got, first of all, let me see. We got WNBA tonight. Slate's 3-game slate starts at 7. I think there's NHL playoffs tonight also. NBA playoffs at 6:30 or NBA slate. I just saw a note, Devin will have a cheat sheet. It's up. And there's also going to be an NHL cheat sheet coming as well. So yourfielderschoice.com, $35 per month. Small sports is our niche, plus the big ones like MLB, NBA, NHL, and so on. We actually had a really good we had a pretty good slate last night. Most of our plays from the show hit. Really good GPP, stacking the White Sox, playing Mercedes, Nikki Madrigal we call, Timmy Anderson. So most of you guys sure did well. And I think we should do all right tonight, especially I see some weather is changing. So let's get right into it. And let's hit weather. The biggest worry tonight was the Milwaukee Kansas City game because we got Brandon Woodruff going, who I really like, and it was a big postponement or delay risk. Well, I just saw that Kevin Roth downgraded it. It lowered the risk, saying there's a few late showers early, heavier showers after the game. They don't think it's going to impact play. So it looks like we're good to go now in Kansas City. But the Nationals Cubs game, they've actually upgraded that to a red. Red means that's no good. They think it's going to be heavy enough to keep them from playing. Definitely upping the risk significantly. So watch out playing Nationals and Cubs. Anybody else? That's pretty much it. Yeah, Minnesota, there's going to be some on and off rain, but they expect to play through it. I think that's it. So the good news is it looks like Milwaukee and Kansas City is good to go. If anybody sees any change in that during the show, just throw it out in the chat so I can also see it. And that's going to make a big difference, I think, with pitching, because originally I was looking at Zach Wheeler and Snell. I really don't want to go with Snell, because of being afraid to go with Woodruff. But now it looks like we can maybe possibly use Woodruff. So the cheat, I'm not sure the cheat sheet, but updated. It was updated about a half hour ago. Yes, it's just been updated. So still, if you look at our cheat sheet, like I always say, it's the best. It's got the ownership. It's got all the data on the opponents and the batters. It's got Wilbur ISO, K percentage, walk percentage, all that. So we're still showing Snell as the highest owned chalky play at 42%. Then we got Woodruff at 29. Zach Wheeler's actually dropped to around 26%. And in between them is Andrew Haney for the Angels. So I'm going to give you my opinion on all this. Now Woodruff's good to go. I think his ownership's going to jump a little bit from 29. I'm all about Woodruff. He probably has the toughest matchup of the slate, the Royals. But they're not going to. They're definitely not going to scare me off Woodruff. But they're probably the toughest matchup with about the rest of the pitchers. But Snell's got Colorado. Then you got Wheeler, Miami. But still, Woodruff he's been a complete stud this year. 164 ERA, 229 FIP, 0.73 WHIP, 11.1 K9 ratio, 61 strikeouts and 49 innings of work. To me, that's all I need to know. He's a stud. Pretty much since his first start, the opening day, that disaster, he's got a 1.19 ERA over his last 45 innings. If he's playing, if the weather's good, to me, you use him. And he's actually shown it in the ownership projections. So now you got SP2. Let's talk about Zach Wheeler first. Going against Miami, should be a bullpen game. Let me look at their latest odds. Minus 173 favorite. So you like to see that, a big favorite. You look at his record, don't let that scare you off. It's 3-2, but he's actually been pitching really well. He's got a 2.85 ERA. The 3 wins, he's got 56 strikeouts at 53 innings. And you look at the Marlins, 24th, they're 24th in the league in runs per game. They're only averaging 3.95 runs. 4th highest strikeout rate in baseball, 26.5. And it's actually gone up in the last 2 weeks to almost 28%. Good spot against Miami. He's 8-3 against Miami, 109 strikeouts over 100 innings against Miami, and right now they're hitting 229 as a team. So I'm all over Zach Wheeler. I think he's a good spot. The problem is between Wheeler and Woodruff, it's going to tie up $22,000. I think there's enough value. So now let's talk about Blake Snell, who right now is catching the most ownership. And I was ready to play him if the Woodruff game wasn't. The status didn't change. We all know Blake Snell. We know he's been a good pitcher. When he's with Tampa, we use him. Every time he pitched, I use him as an elite pitcher, even with that short leash. And, it kind of does make sense on paper today. 15.8 K to walk ratio, 29.7 CSW, which is good. They're big favorites. Right now, they're now minus 224. That's jumped significantly. It opened at minus 194. So their odds have jumped up, mainly because the Rockies are such a poor offense away from Coors. His main issue has been his control. He's got a crazy walk rate at 15.2%, which is a career high. Swing and strike rate is down noticeably, 12.6%. Lowest has been since 2017. So it's hard to have a lot of confidence in him, what we've seen so far this year. But if there's any team that's going to be a get-right game, it will be today the Padres. So to me, though, the way Wheeler and Woodruff are pitching, I just see Snell as the third best. If we see ownership go up even more, I don't like, if a pitcher's over 50% owned, I probably end up using him because of chalk. Snell is still a good pitcher, but to me, still number 3. So I'm going to rank them Woodruff, Wheeler, Snell. And there's actually one other pitcher in here that I kind of like, and he's actually showing it now in our ownership projections. Andrew Haney for the Dodgers. He's jumped up to 28%, couple percentage points higher than Wheeler. He's only $7,800 on DK, $7,600 on FanDuel. So Haney, he actually has the highest strikeout walk percentage on the slate, 26.7. CSW's 30.7, which is excellent. He goes against Cleveland today, who's actually one of the weakest offenses in the league. I mean, they're pretty much in the same league as the Texas's and Detroit's. They got team 289 Woba, 29th in the league, which is bad. They've been no hit twice already. They're favorites at home. I mean, not by much, minus 136. And the Indians' total right now is sitting at, what's it, 3.7, which actually dropped a little bit. And Jordan Luplow did leave last night's game with an ankle sprain, so I'm assuming Luplow was not in the lineup. I believe he's not, but let me check. So that actually upgrades Heaney a little bit also. We know Heaney can throw fire and he can strike out batters. To me, he's still kind of a boomer bust GPP play, but he's in play and the ownership is showing it. So I would rank Heaney probably behind Snell just because he's more volatile. But I think he's still in a good spot. Everybody else more is GPP plays. You got Patrick Corbin. I mean, his ERA's jumped in his last 100 innings, but his last start, we saw him throwing the ball over 92 miles an hour fastball. He struck out nine Phillies. So if we get that version of Patrick Corbin, he's in a good spot. But also, we're talking about Rainier too, so GPP only. So for cash, I'm only going to look at those four guys mainly: Woodruff, Wheeler, Snell, and then possibly Andrew Heaney. On FanDuel, Snell he's a couple $1,000 less than Woodruff and Wheeler. Maybe viable on FanDuel. I still wouldn't take a chance with the value tonight. I would still end up going Woodruff on FanDuel also. All right. Anybody have any questions on pitcher before we move on? All right. Like I said, cheat sheet's updated. It's updated at 6 p.m. Let's go around, start at catcher tonight. So I'm going to be talking as if I'm throwing the two studs, the Wheeler and Woodruff, and spending $20K on my two pitchers, $21K. So if you look at our cheat sheet, there's only one guy that's jumping out over everybody. Well, that's catcher first base. Let me go back to catcher. So if we're going to pay up tonight, Will Smith's your play. He's got crazy reverse splits. He's now actually Merritt Kelly has been pulled. So now we have this kid, I don't even know his name, Corbin Martin going, who's a righty. So we still have Smith going against a righty. Smith has got crazy reverse splits this year, which are pretty close to elite. So maybe even a better spot than facing Merritt Kelly. He's got a 270 ISO, 415 WOBA this year. Putting the ball in the air, fly ball percentage, 45.6% time. Will Smith, if you got the money, is the play there. I just don't know. I don't think you can do it if you're playing Woodruff and Wheeler. So we got to drop a little bit. So who else we have? James McCann finally gets a left-hander tonight. And over the years, we know how James McCann has crushed lefties. You got this kid, Tucker Davidson, who actually I don't think is a bad pitcher. I looked him up a little bit. He just, the last game in AAA, threw, I think, 95 pitches, so he stretched out. But never mind, because James McCann didn't even make starting lineup. Thomas Nido is starting. Wow. The Mets have a really watered-down lineup tonight. From 5 down, they're watered. Nido, Peraza, Khalil Lee, John Z. Fargas. Wow. So we can take McCann out of the situation. All right. So who are we looking at then? We got Mike Zunino, who I always love against righties. He's going up against Matt Harvey. We're going to be talking about Matt Harvey a lot tonight. And when Zunino faces righties, either booms or busts, either hits a home run, seems like, or he strikes out. So I think he's in a good spot against Matt Harvey, actually. Harvey's putting the ball in he's got 33% hard contact. Actually, he's more of a ground ball pitcher this year. He's not pitching too bad. But still, when you got a guy like Zunino, puts the ball in the air, I think he's a good spot at, what's his price? 3.7. So, yeah, he's in play. Anybody else? I think if we drop down, Martin Maldonado going against Minea. He's actually hitting 290 over his last 9 games with 2 home runs. And 7 for 14 lifetime against Manaea. So he's hitting 500 against Manaea at $2,100. Now, is that lineup out yet? No. So if Maldonado's in the lineup, he actually may be in play. I don't mind Sean Manaea, but when you hit 500 lifetime, 7 for 14, and only $2,100, he may actually be the play there. Anybody else at Wilson Ramos at 3.5? Yeah, I could probably look at Ramos. He's batting eighth tonight against Justin Dunn. But might as well go down to Maldonado. So to me, I think the play is going to be, is there any other punts that have popped up? I don't think so. Nothing. Jonah Heim, possibly. I think he's a really good hitter for Texas, young hitter against Jamison Talon, who has been getting a lot of hard contact, fly balls. Maybe Jonah Heim at 2.5. I guess we can look at Heim. Michael Perez, he doesn't hit. And it's probably it for cheap guys. If we're going to two big catchers and pitchers, and then you got Danny Jansen at 2.4, who actually been hitting lately. I played him on Sunday. He went 2 for 3. So I would say Danny Jansen or Martin Maldonado would be your plays. Jansen may end up catching the highest ownership when we see the cheat sheet be readjusted before lock. All right, so enough of catcher. Just play somebody cheap and move on. Don Day and his Manny Pena punt. Actually, I think, didn't the night when you said Manny Pena punt, I think he might have hit a home run that night, because I was thinking about that when you said it. I mean, he's going against, batting 6th against Bubik. I don't like Chris Bubik. Actually, I know some people tonight actually like him. Last game, he was 2 for 3 at a home run. That was probably the game we were talking about 4 days ago. Yeah, I guess Manny Pena's in play too. You can even play him in cash. All these guys are more on GPP plays, so you take a chance on all these cheap catchers. So, nice call on Pena. Chris Duffy said Noah. Noah's batting cleanup tonight, I believe, but he's not a punt play. 4-2 against Austin Jomber. Yeah. I guess it all depends on how else you want to get if you're using the 2B pitchers. Yeah, nice call, Chris, on Austin Noah batting cleanup. But still, I think if you save 2K with a guy like Maldonado, you might be able to get some of these higher price guys. So, all right, first base right now, G-Man Choi is back for Tampa Bay. He's looking like now he's catching a lot of the love at 3.6. And I see why. I mean, he's only played 1 game this year, but that 1 game he's lefty going Harvey to righty. He was 3 for 4. 2 singles, a double, batting 3rd tonight. The Rays are going to be popular against Harvey. Man, I just got this weird gut feeling, this is one of these games. It always seems like we're on a team like the Braves or the Rays when they're chalky and we're on them, and it seems like they don't come through. And Matt Harvey's really not pitching bad this year. I mean, he's not striking people out. He's only striking out 16%, but his walk rate 6%, which isn't bad. So, I don't know. You don't want to use lefties against them. So Choi's definitely the popular play, looking at 20%. Anybody else for cash we're looking at? Freddie Freeman's going to be popular. He's probably going to be the top play because he's going against, there's a bunch of new pitchers going tonight. The Mets have a scrub going. His name is Yamamoto. I keep thinking the kid for the Oilers, Yamamoto, but it's the kid, and of course it's not Jordan. Oh, now it's been switched to Miguel Castro. That must be because it's a bullpen game. So you got Miguel Castro going. He's a righty. Of course, Freddie's a lefty. Freddie should be able to launch off this guy. And it always seems to happen when I play Freddie. One night he goes 0. The next night I don't play him and he goes off. I am seeing, though, this Miguel Castro throws a lot of balls low. Let me just confirm that. If I remember right, Castro is a sinker ball pitcher. And Freddie could tee off on that. So even though Freddie won't 0 for 4 or 5 last night. Don't be afraid of that. If you have the money, I think Freddie's actually to play at home. They built that stadium for him, that short right porch. So if you have the money, Freddie's the call. I wrote my article. I like Vlad. He gets the lefty tonight. This lefty tonight that he's facing allows a lot of power. So that's Erod. So Vlad's just as much of a play than Freddie is also. Vlad's on fire right now, too. They're still down in Dunedin. It's 90 degrees down here. Don't worry about the wind blowing in. As long as they get the ball in the air, it's hot enough it's going to go. So Vlad and Freddie are both the plays. I think they're both about the same level, kind of flip a coin. But if you have the money, if you can find value somewhere else, like a catcher in outfield, play Freddie or Vlad. If not, then you go down to Choi, who's going to be a chalky play. And it's probably going to be lower owned than Lau and Meadows, but still, I'm not going to also run my whole lineup with Rays either. But so I would say Freddie or Vlad, or go down to Choi. The wind's blowing in. The wind's blowing in the knee, but don't worry about that. It says 90 degrees, so you got to worry about that. The ball's going to go if it goes up there. That's a good comment. That was a Devin made about Tampa Bay's going to be popular. I wouldn't get crazy playing 4 or 5 of them. I totally agree there. Good way to get burned. So as we go to second base, and the big guy second is Brandon Lau. He's going to be high owned. He's boom or bust this year. He's more of a either it seems like he hits a home run or strikes out. But if you look at his advanced metrics right now here at second, going up against Matt Harvey, everything adds up for him. That's what worries me. I don't want to play Lau, but you look at his advanced metrics this year: 280 ISO, 386 WOBA, putting the ball in here 42%, 42% in hard contact. It all adds up for him. But we've seen Lau do this all year. I mean, he's hitting a little bit better. He was 1 for 4 last game, which was 2 on Sunday. He hit a home run. 2 games before that, no hits. Then he had a couple one-hit games. He's had a home run like a week ago. So Lau's going to be high owned. Looking at our projections, we're seeing 21%. I think it's going to be higher probably at the end of the day. The problem is if you don't play Lau and he hits a home run and off of Harvey, you're kind of screwed. And remember, they're playing in Camden Yards, which is a hitter's park. So if for some reason you don't want to go to Lau, you're scared off him. Who else we got here? We got Ozzie Albies going up against this kid for the Mets. Betting cleanup. I'd rather see Albies against a lefty, but it's probably going to be more of a bullpen game. I guess he's in play. Marcus Semien and Dunedin. I love Semien. It's probably the same price as Brandon Lau. He's going to be a little bit lower owned, though, so he needs a nice pivot off of Lau. And then you want to drop all the way down is, I think Kiki Hernandez should be starting tonight in Boston. I mean, for Boston, in Dunedin off of Real. I don't like to pick on Real too much, but I wouldn't mind going to Kiki down there. I listed Adam Frazier as a play also, as long as he's leading off against Grant. He's got 8 hits in his last 2 games, including 2 doubles. So I'm an Adam Frazier guy at 4-1, but I'm probably either going to go all the way up to like a Lau or drop down to maybe Kiki or Josh Harrison, but then you got to worry about the weather tonight. So yeah, it's probably about it at second. Anybody I'm missing? Oh, GBP played Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm was back. He's got that power speed. He can definitely steal 2 or 3 bases tonight, but he's going up against Zach Wheeler. So if you're pitching Wheeler, you can't play Chisholm, but GPPs, I would get them in there for at least in one lineup. If he's like a Trey Turner, he gets on base, boom. And he played on Sunday, I believe it was, and he was 2 for 5. So he has stolen base, 13 DK points, so he can add them up quick. But Lau's the chalk play. It's kind of scary, but if he hits one, he's got a really good chance of hitting one tonight, the way the metrics look. You want to be on the inside looking out if he does. One other play is DJ LeMahieu for the Yankees. The Yankees out yet. Yeah, DJ's leading off tonight against Fulte. He is 11 for 18. That's a 611 batting average lifetime against Fulte. And he's 5,600. To me, it's a better play than Brandon Lau. But, I mean, he's not having the greatest season. But he's still hitting 277, 3 home runs, 28 ribbies. But look at that BVP, man. It's 11 for 18, 611. Not bad. Nice call on Ohtani. I didn't even mention Ohtani, but yeah, Ohtani's always in play. And he's on fire right now at first base. All right. Anybody else? I'm really not looking at anybody else for cash. Most of those guys are all in play for GPPs, of course. Dylan Moore, 2-7 against Turnbull. 3 homers last 9 games. I guess you can use him. Oh, Gavin Lux also. Gavin Lux is 3,300. He's hot right now. He's hitting 333 of his last 13. 6 multi-hit games in that span. Lux actually might be my value if I probably like Lux over Kiki because Ryu scares me. So I forgot about Lux. But I think second base is going to be a pay up tonight. If you don't go Lau, I'd be going to DJ or Marcus Semien and Dunedin. Okay, third base. Going back to the cheat sheet. Jonathan Villar for the Mets is carrying the most ownerships, over 20%. So, did Villar make the lineup? He should be hitting 6th, right? He's actually, yeah, he's leading off. Okay, leading off against Tucker Davidson, 3-3. I get it. Yeah, I guess I can see why he's. I don't know. I mean, I like Machado tonight. Yeah, it's a pay up, but he's got 2 homers, 12 ribbies over his last 10. He's always hit lefties better. I think he's in a great matchup against Austin Johnberg. So to me, Machado's the play at third. Bregman's in a good spot. If you like the Rays and then you don't go like a Brandon Lau, Joey Wendell can actually. I'm surprised he's not catching ownership. You can play Joey Wendell at third. I like Joey Wendell. He isn't having the greatest of seasons either, but you can play him there. Who else we got? Urshela. Man, there's not a lot of. This is kind of a shitty position. No Moncada. Now you got to worry about Michael Pineda has got scratched. So they're going against this guy, Bailey Ober. So yeah, I guess Moncada at 4.7's in play. He may end up being a top play there. Austin Riley's not bad. I mean, he's got some upside. So I guess to me, the top play is Machado or Moncada. Wendell is probably your value play. You also have Starlin Castro at 3-2. But you got to worry about rain. So third base is kind of crappy tonight, really. All right, shortstop. Timmy Anderson was my play because that big BVP against Pineda. I still like him, though. He's still in a really good spot. I'm looking at our projections right now. It's sitting at Trey Turner, Lindor, and Kim all around 13%, so nobody's jumping out. I mean, if you're worried, Bo Bichette is in play in Dunedin. I mean, he's been crushing the ball. So weird. It's like Willie Adames for Tampa. I mean, he's last 10, 11 games, he's hitting better. Somebody just said Nicky Matone. You also have him shortstop eligible. I mean, he had 2 home runs in that last game. I mean, he's not getting 2 home runs again, I doubt, but he's hitting 316. A couple steals. Probably 5,500. I probably would run Timmy Anderson still. He's hitting 331, 5 home runs, 7 steals in 30 games. I still like Timmy Anderson. I'm still probably going to run if I have the money. Francisco Lindor is in play also. And said the 2 Rays, Joey Wendell or Willie Adames. So I said, it's a weird slate. But we're probably going to get some value here if you're going to run Woodruff and Wheeler. So at the end of the day, I'm still going to probably say I like Anderson as my top play. I'm not going to use Anderson. I'm probably going to drop down to like a Joey Wendell. And where is Wendell batting? I seem like look earlier and he's batting down in the lineup. Batting 6th, and Willie Adames is batting 9th. So yeah, I guess Wendell's in play. And Wendell, was really hot earlier in the year. 2 days ago, he was 4 for 5. So if he was 4K, I would say he's the play, but 4 or 5 is a little bit high. All right, look at the cheat sheet though when it updates, because you're gonna probably get a better feel for. Oh, one of the names is Freddie Galvis. Freddie Galvis is playing tonight. He's facing a righty. When he faces a righty, he can go yard, and he's only 3.5. The righty tonight is gonna be the kid for Tampa, Patino, but he usually doesn't last too long. So Galvis is in play also. Definitely at 3.5. All right. Any other questions? I guess, saying Villars are talking about, I guess I agree with that. I like the price leading off against a rookie, this Davison kid. I just maybe I haven't used Villar a lot this year. I guess, yeah. At that price, I guess you can't really go wrong if you don't use Timmy A. He's only 3.3 leading off against, I said, a minor leaguer, Tucker Davidson, and he's got, his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 5 hits in 5 of his last 6 games. 3 of them have been double-digit DK. So yeah, I guess I can look at Jonathan Villar if you don't use Timmy. All right, so outfield. This may be where we're going to looking for some owners or some value tonight. Look at the cheat sheet quick. Austin Meadows runs away from everybody, 32%. Meadows is a core play. I think you got to use him. Said going up against Harvey, he's got that 10% K to walk rate, 22.8 CSW, all poor numbers. He doesn't miss any bats. He's got 7.1 swing to K rate. He's allowing 368 WOBA to lefties going back to 2019. Buy a little opportunity for Austin Meadows. Definitely 352 career WOBA against righties. Lock Meadows in as one of your outfielders, no doubt. Another value, we keep talking about Jerry Kelenic. I still think you play him. There's way too much value in that price. Turnbull for Detroit hasn't been pitching bad. He's actually picked by one of the better pitchers for Detroit, but I got zero problems targeting Jerry Kelenic again tonight. So you can play Meadows and Kelenic. Acuna's probably the top play, especially going against his Mets bullpen game. So maybe you run a lineup of Acuna, Meadows, and Kelenic. Tommy Pham's in a really good spot. He's only, I think, 3-1. He's catching a little bit of ownership, batting 5th, I think, behind Nola. Randy Arozarena may end up being the best rate out of all of them. He's looking at like 15% ownership. He's leading off tonight against Harvey, and he does hit lefties better. He's a righty, but I imagine he can handle Harvey. Is Christian Yelich back tonight? I saw him in a cheat sheet. I thought he was out for a while. Oh, he's batting 3rd. I thought he was out till June. Yelich is always going to be popular against Bubik, even though Yelich, I believe, hits left. No, he's got decent numbers against lefties. 397 low, but 288 ISO from our cheat sheet. So I guess I wouldn't play Yelich right back, but Bryce Harper's in a really good spot tonight. I think at 5.4. You talking about Aaron Judge, who's on fire. So all those higher price guys are all in play. Soto, just take your pick. The thing is going to be who you're going to play for your value. Franmil Reyes, I called it last night. He had a home run. I wouldn't use him tonight though. But Avisail Garcia's cheap. Lorenzo Cain is cheap. Who else did I have in my top plays? Dylan Carlson is down below 3K now. Still batting 2nd against Brubaker. Matthew Beaty for the Dodgers. He's hitting 5th tonight, I think. He's got 6 hits in his last 4 games. No, that's Haniger. He's batting 6th against the new pitcher for Arizona, 386 WOBA. So Beaty's in play. I'm looking at Mitch Haniger. 6 hits in his last 4 games, 2 doubles, 4 home runs in his last 7. good matchup against Turnbull. So Haniger's also in play. I wouldn't play Kellenic and Haniger together. I'd probably just end up playing Kellenic, though. But Haniger is always, he's ended up being a cash play here. Tyrone Taylor is always cheap. Yep. It seems to me, I got, what's Taylor's log looking like? I was starting to play Taylor a lot. He's batting 5th tonight against Bubik. He hasn't had hit now in like the last 5 or 6 games, but he's in play against Bubik, yeah. The Yankees lineup is out. Yeah, it is Detroit. Yeah, so Brett Gardner's batting 2nd at 2.7 against Fulte. Yeah, that's a good value play, actually. Gardner's still hitting. I'm probably going to play 2 values here in the outfield. I'm just not sure. Beside Meadows, which one? I'm still thinking Kellenic. You can even play Kiki Hernandez in the outfield also. So, all right. So, any other questions? Odor's batting 5th. Wow. So to run through quick, if I'm using Wheeler and Woodruff tonight because the weather's changing, I'm probably going to drop down to a cheap catcher. You got Manny Pena, you got Heim for Texas or Maldonado, first base. So we got, if you had the money, Vlad or Freddie, both in smash spots. Second base, Lau, Semien, both in smash spots. Third base, or shortstop, Villar's with third base or shortstop. Villar's a value play, or Manny Machado. Shortstop, Timmy Anderson, Willie Adames. That's your higher lows. And then said the outfields, Austin Meadows, Kellenic, and then get somebody else in there, probably mid-range. I didn't even talk about Teo Hernandez, is 5 for 14 off Erod. Big spot today. Randall Grichuk. And I said you can also play Kiki in the outfield too, and Dunedin. Gardner or Carlson for value? Probably. That's a good question. Probably Gardner against Fulte. I mean, Brubaker's not a bad pitcher, actually. Yeah, I would probably say Brett Gardner. Yeah, that's how I'd probably run because I don't think Fulte's actually. I mean, Brubaker's not that bad. Any other questions before I move on to price picks? No. Okay, so price picks. I did a couple. I didn't do as much as last night. I'll try to get a couple more out. Devin sent me a note that cheat sheet is updated. So before we stay on prize picks, but let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Snell's still looking up there. Wow, Villar. All right, so it's pretty much Bryce Harper jumped a little bit. Pretty much what we said. Austin Mell's gonna be popular. Brandon Lau's gonna be popular. Villar's gonna be popular, and Troy's gonna be popular. And we're still looking at Snell and Wheeler, and Haney's still over Woodruff. People still must be worried about that weather in Milwaukee. I'll now have to check that again before it locks. All right, price picks. I picked out, actually, Devin did a lot of the research on price picks. We got Brandon Lau over 7 fantasy points. Timmy Anderson over 7 fantasy points. Did anybody else I look at jump out at me today? Let me see if there's anything else that's come out. Probably not. Yeah, I think that's it. So I still stick with Timmy A at 7 and Brandon Lau over 7. I did my GBP article today. We were dead on yesterday. I have a couple sneaky picks. I think Seattle's in a good spot today. And I'm also taking the Rangers tonight as a contrarian play against the Yankees, knowing that they've been hitting Talon hard, putting the ball in the air. So I'm actually looking at Texas tonight as a sneaky call, especially Texas lefties. Nate Lau, Joey Gallo, David Dahl, and Willie Calhoun leading off. I like that stack. And I was looking at Seattle stack. They didn't come through for us last night against Mize, but I can see him coming through tonight against Turnbull. those top three, Kelenic, Haniger, and Seager, definitely against Turnbull, and possibly like a Kyle Lewis, J.P. Crawford, Dylan Moore, middle of the order for Seattle. All right. Didn't also mention he likes Harper, Meadows, and Acuna over on, I'm assuming, right, over on Price Picks. All right, if anybody has any questions, it's 6:38. We made good time here. We got locked at 7:05. It's a big slate, 14 games. Keep an eye on that weather in Kansas City to see if it's changed about Woodruff. If it is any kind of a question mark and you think the game's going to be delayed or even an in-game delay, then I would definitely be going to a Blake Snell, Zach Wheeler combination. Or I said even I'm seeing Andrew Haynes catching a little bit of love. But right now, it looks like the weather has changed and it's actually getting better. That they should be able to play. I got digging that more, and I'll let you know in premium before lock which way I'm going to go. I need to know more because you can't be starting Brandon Woodruff if there's a chance of an in-game delay. So it's either going to be Woodruff, Wheeler, or Wheeler Snell for me, and we'll know before 7:00. All right, that's it. No questions. All right, we're out of here. Thanks to Mickey, our producer, and we'll be back tomorrow, 6:00, same time.
At the bottom of the ocean, I'm at the bottom of the sea. At the bottom of the ocean, don't know if I'll make it back home. For the